Evening everyone, it is the Tuesday Club and it's Ray, your host, here tonight in the wake of a fantastic Champions League victory in the opening group game for the Reds. We're brought to you in association with RedsBet. It's a betting site tailor-made for Liverpool supporters. RedsBet aims to share half its net profits with Liverpool fans and fan causes. So no matter what, the fans end up a winner. Check out the odds on redsbet.com or download the RedsBet app. Share the glory and gamble responsibly. Did you have a responsible gamble tonight, anyone?
No,
don't bet. Okay, well, don't bet on games like that, because I tell you what, it was a bit topsy-turvy, wasn't it, Andy? How are you feeling after that?
Feeling very relieved. It was like I said earlier on at where that I was way too confident. I just felt like we were much better than Paris Saint-Germain, and for large portions of that game we did actually prove we were. So going 2-0 up, you think with the new Liverpool a lot more solid at the back, but unfortunately just probably unlucky to get the concede the first goal. Probably could have went ahead more, but I know, feeling relieved.
You have to, don't you? Because when we were all watching it here together, and when it went 2-2, it was a pretty despairing feeling, really, wasn't it, Paddy? Were you expecting that goal to come at the end, or like a lot of the lads in here, were you happy to settle for a 2-2?
Not really, like judging on last year. Probably going back to 2 years ago where runs in the Champions League and stuff, we'd be throwing away leads and throwing away stuff like that. But the way the team has been playing over the last season, you expect us to beat PSG. Yeah, they're good, but they're not on their level. Definitely not for me anyway.
They're not the elite, are they?
No,
they have this kind of, I guess, a bit of an aura that they're heading in that direction. Yeah. They've not got the pedigree in the Champions League at the moment, but they feel obviously they are. But I think we probably put them in their box a little bit tonight. Would you say? A little bit,
put them back a bit, but I don't think we helped ourselves tonight in some instances. Like we were saying before the end of the game, Jordan Henderson looked spent after 80 minutes. Yeah. Looked finished. Yeah. Well, Nialdum was absolutely outstanding, and as we were saying as well, it's going to put a bit of doubt on who gets into the team on Saturday in the next game. Yeah. But listen, all onwards and upwards. 3 points is 3 points, especially at home against a big side.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
And obviously the other game ends in a draw, which puts us top of the group, top of the league, top of the Champions League group, 100%, 6 from 6. Phil, sometimes you're not the most optimistic. Are you feeling optimistic now?
After what I've done to get this fucking thing live, I can't remember what happened in the match.
Well, we won 3-2, Phil, just to remind you.
Clusterfuck of epic proportions. Pain in my arse. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Did we win? 3-2.
No. You were 3 minutes ahead the whole way through.
I was 3 minutes ahead.
Telling us what was about to happen. Yeah. Big spoiler, Phil, as usual.
What camera are you on?
You're on the one that you should be looking.
Oh, that one there, yeah, grand. Because we don't have to do it like ESPN. Yeah, Ray. Thanks for the question. Yeah, I think that's a great question, Ray. I think that being top of the league and top of the Champions League group is a great thing at this point in the season. And if somebody was going to ask me, did I enjoy it? I've totally enjoyed it so far. What about you, Andy?
Good answer, Phil. Thanks for that answer.
Yeah.
So just on the team selection, obviously Sturridge playing from the start was a little bit unexpected, and obviously had a decision to make in terms of the midfield three, and he went for Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner. Obviously Wijnaldum was the standout there. Were you happy at the beginning?
Right, I'll jump
for a second.
Can I just jump in? Right, I think so much was worried in the build up to this because Firmino, the way he plays and the style, our style is very much built around him. Mane, Salah, Firmino's the three, right? Yeah. And Sturridge coming in, everyone was wondering what impact is that going to have on the team. For the majority of that 90 minutes, we're fairly comfortable, but we exhibit the problems that we had in previous seasons in giving those goals away, right? So, there just seem to be little mistakes that other teams capitalise on, which I suppose we all thought would have been eradicated with bringing in Alisson. Right? And I'm not putting the goals on Alisson. I just think there's an assumption because of the way the season has gone, because of the number of clean sheets. We'd only conceded our first goal, recently in terms of the games. We'd only conceded one goal in each. So to concede 2 goals all of a sudden, that's the takeaway from. I know we're saying PSG don't have a huge European pedigree or what have you, but that's the takeaway from. They've got 3 world class players playing up front.
Yeah,
right. And to be able to restrict them to the chances we did do, to be able to give up a 2-goal lead, but still have the mental resilience to come back and get the winner at the end. And I know you're getting onto it there, but like the performance that Wijnaldum puts in today, we're looking at players across. Milner's been getting plaudits everywhere, right? Yeah. But Wijnaldum's performances from pre-season right the way through to, especially in this match, has been outstanding. And he's been playing in 3 different positions across that midfield. Yeah,
it's amazing, isn't it? He's turning into our ultimate utility player in that 3, isn't he? Because he can play all the positions. Like tonight, when I seen the 3, to me it seemed obvious that he was going to be the more advanced of the 3. But I think even I was astounded at times how effective he was in terms of his distribution.
Milner?
No, Wijnaldum. Yeah. I mean, for you, is that his best role in the 3?
When he's more
advanced and he's
I don't know. Like he's played probably the majority of his games this season where he's played well. He's played in the deeper role, the Gini Makelele role, and he's been
false D8,
false 6, like, and he hasn't been any sort of a Hoidi 6 or a Hoidi
6. He hasn't played a Hoidi 8 this season.
He's just been absolutely quality. Like he's really, really responded well to the fact that they brought in a couple of midfielders. Like he wants to keep his place at the
he's
team.
He's being challenged and he's stepping up. Yeah.
So to be able to play a deeper role on Saturday and to come and play a more advanced role tonight, like it's unbelievable to see. And I suppose that's what Klopp goes for. He's not really a man about the specialised positions. He wants them all to be able to crowd the midfield and do plenty of running, cover for each other. Because if you see the way Keita when he's played and Milner tonight, Milner pretty much every game, the ball follows Milner. The play follows Milner. Like you find himself out wide right, you find himself out wide left. So I mean that's what I think Klopp needs out of that midfield. They all have to have legs, but they all need to be able to play football. And like you can't question any of them tonight until late on.
Yeah,
Henderson's quite leggy.
Henderson looked. The camera went on him a few times, and he looked visibly bollocksed. Yeah,
but Milner and Wijnaldum's probably taken a bit away from him tonight, but that's probably Henderson's most satisfactory performance in a long, long time.
Yeah. Just go into the sequence of the events throughout the game then. So in terms of obviously Liverpool go 1 ahead, Daniel Sturridge. I personally was a little bit surprised. I think the jury's out on how effective he's going to be for us this season. But obviously he gets his goal. It's a fantastic ball in from Robertson, and he sticks it away. And fair play to him. He gets his goal. Now later on in the game he misses some chances. We'll come on to that. But from your point of view, he gets his goal. Yeah,
he does the job. He's up there to do a job, hit the back of the net, and he does it. Yeah. Now we were given out saying he doesn't do the most amount of work on the pitch, but if the ball falls to him in the box, other than Mane, Salah, and Firmino, he's going to hit the back of the net. He is still a world-class finisher. Like he's not as mobile as we thought, or he's not as fit as we think, but he still does the job. Do you know what I mean?
With his back to goal, it was obvious at times, wasn't it, that he struggles now. And sometimes the best he's going to do is get a foul. Phil disagrees.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a guy who hasn't played all season outside of the pre-season. You're looking at a fella whose second half performance was substantially better than his first half performance, yet he got his goal in the first half.
Yeah, it was crazy. Wasn't it?
He worked a lot harder in the second half. He put himself about a bit, and he should have had 2 goals at least. Right, like the little ball that gets away from him. I'd say if Sturridge has 2 or 3 games under the belt, it's forced time. Yeah. It's a forced time shot. Whereas this, he tries to take the touch to get the shot away, and I still think it's a bit. He's unlucky there because he's entitled to go for the ball. Their keeper doesn't go with the hands; he goes with his legs. Yeah. It's like if that's a centre back and a centre forward in that position going in that type of tackle, then there's no free out there. The ball just breaks and Salah slots it into the back of the net, and that's the end of it.
His touch in the first place is the thing that kind of
they're using those bloody cup champion balls. They're not even real footballs. State them.
It is the situation you want Sturridge to find himself in. Like he's so clinical. Normally when he gets a ball into him like that, he just kills it. and he gets a shot away. It was just a one-off for Sturridge, but that is certainly...
It was an unusual one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is certainly the moment that you really rely on having Sturridge, or the advantage you have to having Sturridge. Those tight spaces, if the ball comes from the ball falls from him, he's going to finish. Like, that's what he's all about. He's not going to do the Bobby Firmino job. He's not going to really suit a front three at all. Does need someone close to him. So it's not the ideal game for him, but it's understandable with Firmino. He has to come in. He's the next up. It's not like for like. It makes the other guys have to work a little bit harder. But look, he's got his goal, and it was a decent performance.
But the ball in from Robertson does 70% of the work.
Oh,
like the ball is top notch. All he has to do is touch it and it's in. He doesn't put power in a direction. He just puts his head and then he hits the net.
Sturridge found himself in a similar position in the second half, didn't he? Where unfortunately it comes off his shoulder and that chance goes. It wasn't as good a ball, Phil. I'll give you that.
If it was on his head, he scores the goal. But this one's on his shoulder.
Yeah, it was a bit lower.
It wasn't as easy.
It was designed for the smaller stature player like Mane or Salah. See, Trent
or
is
even
used
Bobby,
to those players.
Or even Bobby.
Bobby's about the same height as Sturridge, but like normally he would have pulled off back to the edge and then doing something else. But then Trent is just used to the small lads being in around the box, so he's whipping it in for that height. He's so conditioned to those heights.
He's well known he's right-headed.
He's right-headed, yes, he is.
So he's on his bad head.
He takes the penalties with his head. Yep.
Yeah. I always
footed right-headed.
Yeah, it's the brain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's right-headed.
Yeah.
It is a very good observation.
Yeah.
It's very sort of neurological observation. Yeah. So then obviously Liverpool, we got our tails up. Yeah, I think at this stage, early first 5 minutes we weren't so hot. Then we completely controlled the game. Deservedly go 2 up. When Alden bursting into the box, stonewall penalty. There's not even the need for VAR here. Phil is desperate for VAR to be needed for all decisions. Yeah. This one for me is a complete no reason for VAR to be involved. Stonewall penalty. James Milner steps up, absolutely buries it. It's good that we've actually we seem to now have someone who A is regular in the team and B that will be taking a penalty. Yeah.
But will he be regular over the full course of the season? And that's not being detrimental to Milner. Yeah. He is 95, right? So, he will. At some stage, he's not going to be there. And I suppose when we get the penalty, there is a bit of we were sort of looking at ourselves, who the fuck's going to take this? Because
there's no doubting when Milner's on the pitch, he's taking it. When he's not on the pitch, we do potentially have unless we bring him on specifically to take the pens, yeah.
But the thing is, we have a phenomenal amount of centre forwards who are incapable of taking penalties and scoring on a regular basis. Like Sturridge is there, we're all going, I know. Do you remember when he took a couple of penalties there and didn't? And then Salah, his bit was and then you're looking at Mane and you're like, no, don't trust him either. And then you're starting to look back into midfield. You're going, Wijnaldum, he's just about scoring the headers at this stage.
I think Virgil should be probably next.
Maybe Virgil. Yeah. Big fucking horse.
Absolutely.
Alisson. Just tell him to take the kick out into the top corner. That to me. Get him on it. Big Alisson up, doing a Jose Luis Chelevert. Just get him on the penalties and free kicks.
Main penalty.
Not allowed to play. He's not allowed to play. He's now got Andy Robertson's bark tab.
So
not allowed to play.
So look, 2-0. We go into half time. We kind of cruise into half time, and no one can argue that we deserve to be 2 up at half time. Obviously, come out second half, and PSG get their goal.
2-1 at half time.
Oh, sorry, it is 2-1 by half time. Yeah, I did. Yeah, sorry.
Chip curry
chips. Yeah, 2-1 at half time. Offside for you? Did you pick up on it at the time?
Obviously, the Cavani makes an attempt to play the ball
directly
over his head
in front of Alisson.
Yeah. Look,
and gets a touch.
He definitely takes a swing, so he's interfering with
play.
He was offside.
A difficult one to pick up on because it's flashed across quick enough. You can't be too disappointed about that goal to concede because it comes off Robertson's thigh. It's impossible to control. It's impossible to really do much about it. Unless he was Lovren or something, people be blaming him. So It was
but it was a good finish from a right back.
It was a ridiculous finish.
It was a good finish,
and you can't really blame anyone for it as such. You know, it was unlucky to concede.
Again, Phil's thinking.
He's probably you're trying to think back who lost the ball.
Again, we give away the ball in a dangerous area. Like I know you'll come on to the second goal in the second half, but it comes from errors. It's not like that they've suddenly broke in their own half, side through us, right? And it's ended up with a 2v2 because we have players stacked up the pitch. This is like we had bodies in the box to deal with. We've given the ball away, and they've basically got a whip ball. Like, we are happy with the balls being whipped into the box. We're talking about the quality of Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold's delivery. This wasn't even a great ball whipped into the box.
No, but it wasn't one of those really dangerous situations. No. What made it dangerous was the touch off Robertson's leg, which was just unlucky. It's not like the second goal where the ball was given away in a very, very dangerous situation.
They turn us over.
We 2 players on Cavani. We were should have been really in
4 weeks ago, Alisson says that he's been activated. He doesn't even die for it. Doesn't even die for it.
He doesn't even want to play football anymore.
No, doesn't even want to pass out from the back or nothing. Just wants to hoof it now and stand on his line. Won't come for crosses or nothing. His nose is starting to disappear back into his head as well.
He's not quite a pancake.
He's heading that way.
A muffin.
Yeah. If you start seeing him coming out with his own coffee shops and coffee, that's it. Job done. Sell him.
Send him on.
So you are Mr. VAR in here, basically, Phil. Do you think if that goes to VAR, gets disallowed?
I do think that, again, going back to your point, Cavani is in an offside position, interferes with play. Yeah. It has to be disallowed. Yeah. Because if it's not disallowed, then what's the point in VAR? Now, the problem you have with the VAR is that it's going to be a human making the decision. If we get some robots to make the decision who just knew the rules, you just put in the algorithms, there's what the rules are, then you can't argue with that. The robot says, that's offside, it's interfering with play. Boom.
Yeah. I guess it's...
Get Elon Muskie on the case.
Who?
The other fella.
Elon Muskie?
Yeah.
It's not Elon Musk now, or whatever his name is, making them mad cars that blow up now.
Yeah, get him on the case. He'll sort
Elon Musk?
Yeah. Get him to do it.
He's a bit busy at the moment, being a fucking lunatic.
Did you not see his interview? He's not busy.
He's smoking weed.
Around like
he did a 2-hour podcast. He's not busy.
2-hour podcast. Hank Scorpio.
Podcast for 2 hours.
He has his own flamethrower. Imagine sitting there going, I'm mad busy. What'll I do today? I'm going to build a flamethrower. Lads, build me a flamethrower and sell it off to the people for the crack.
But he couldn't call it a flamethrower. That was the problem.
Sorry, it was a throw flamer.
Right, so into the second half. Obviously, it's a narrow lead, yeah? I think for me, there's a big turning point here, and it's obviously that disallowed goal, yeah?
Yeah.
Salah gets his goal. Unfortunately, he gets disallowed. Yeah, I think he needs a goal. Can't catch a break, you're right. Is it the right decision ultimately? Yeah.
Definitely. His story's 2 foot's the keeper.
He makes a legitimate attempt to play the ball, but you cannot like
kick him in the balls.
Starts flagging and sees it. That's like the official behind the goal doesn't say it's the linesman that puts the flag up.
No, the linesman runs to the
was it not the flag?
No. It was the buzzer man at the back.
And he was very sneaky about it.
He was very sneaky about it.
Fellas never make a decision.
No, but they pressed their buzzers. So they have flag.
That's
poles.
what the stick is. Yeah.
But they have flag poles without a flag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and they use the buzzer on their stick. Now why do you have to have it on a flag pole? Like they could just put like something in their hand, a clicker, right? They could sit them in the stand if you want, just at the front row. Don't even let them know that.
It was very sneaky because the camera behind the goal is watching him the whole time. You don't see him doing anything. No. And it's only when the ref runs over he goes like that.
He gives a little look.
Yeah. He's like, I remember being on the bus years ago. And just going up the road, and next thing, like, the conductors all pile on, and next thing, like, they just
multiple conductors.
Yeah, like 4 of them just pile on, but they were the smoking police.
Okay.
And
smoking police.
And they were like, "Who's smoking up here?" Next thing, this fella just goes like this, like that.
Gives it a nod.
They pinned. Wow. They just lifted a couple of lads off the bus, but then off they went, and fucking your man was with them. He was in on it, but he's a real sly bastard, like and that.
That's what you think the fella behind the car is doing. He just gives it the whole.
Yeah. A real grass, like, you know. He couldn't even like own up to the fact that he did.
Wave a flag.
Yeah.
Do something now. Nodder. They're the nodders. They're the nodders
Sneaky,
behind the goals.
sneaky.
The nodders.
So he's like the smoking rat.
Yeah. Rats. Goal rats.
Out.
Yeah.
Rats out, yeah.
He could have easily kept his mouth shut.
But it's an interesting.
Keep on there to the boys' testicles and he could have ran them out.
But Andy, do you not think it's interesting that it's the same goal that they didn't disallow the Cavani goal in?
Is it the same?
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same nodder. No, they don't swap. No, no. So you get even. You get even amount of time with the nodder, either attacking or defending. So this nodder here was definitely a Paris nodder.
Maybe a foul stuff out of that.
Yeah. So it was a cheating nodder.
Yeah.
We'll have to look up and see who this fella
It's
is.
like-
You know, is he actually
Sean,
referee
you
any
won't find the
games
remote, that's
or?
another thing you need to find out.
That's how he started. You
Sean
can tell
Baptiste
he's
is
like
his
the
name.
fucker.
Sean Baptiste.
He'll
He
never
lives in
make-
Euro Disney.
He'll never make a real ref like that bus.
No,
Fucking
he won't.
He'll never be a proper conductor.
Annie Rowe should start screaming at him. You'll never be a real ref.
Yeah,
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the courage of your convictions.
Yeah.
You're lacking moral conviction, you are, which are not.
It's like a fucking ventriloquist.
Yeah.
I'd love to go on about this all night because it's actually the best thing we've spoken about for weeks. But we'll move past the nodders. Yeah, we'll focus more on the fact that look, Salah. If Salah scores that goal, maybe things are a little bit different. But look, he got hooked before the end. Yeah, he's having a real rough start to the season. He had that disaster in the Champions League final, the disaster in the World Cup. His season's not got off to a great start. You can draw parallels to last season in some respects, but the goals, and it just doesn't seem to be happening for him, does
At
it?
this stage last season, though, I think Liverpool were playing a different style of football. If my memory serves me correctly, there was a lot more chances being created, and Salah was missing a lot of the chances. He was missing a lot of like XGs. But now, like,
He's the biggest XG culprit in the league, yeah.
But now he's missing X-gitty pasties and X-passes and X-fucking, like, everything's. So he just needs an X-rest and...
How many CCCs is he getting at this stage?
What?
Yes. Because the XGAs would still strongly indicate that he's going to get 20 plus goals this season.
Yeah.
I'm confused extremely.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Look, he'll be alright. He will be alright, but just
Before we come on air, the question was asked: is that did you foresee him being dropped at any point because of his form?
Right. This thing, right. This is the idiocy of Liverpool Twitter. This is the idiocy of Liverpool Twitter fans, right? The fuckers are sitting there going, can't wait till Henderson plays shy, because he'll be dropped and he'll never be playing again for Liverpool, and it's great. They're going to sell him down the road, they're going to trade him to the Patriots, and we'll get somebody off the Cleveland Browns, right? This is what's going on, right? And now they're going to be like, Salah needs to be dropped and never play it again because he can't. It's not. He needs to be rested, and players will be rested in and out of the team. If a fella's out of form, he'll get a game on the bench. Look at Firmino. I'll tell you one thing. Firmino not starting tonight was probably the best thing for him, because he came in and he looked really sharp and really hungry, and he looked like he wanted to prove again he is the man, especially after Sturridge scoring. And it's nothing better to see Sturridge go out there and get a game under his belt and get a goal, to give Bobby the kick up the hole to say, do you know what, this fella can come in, this fella can score goals,
and the immovable
yeah,
object
exactly
there,
And do you know what, if Salah has to sit out a game on the bench, wouldn't it be great to be sitting there in the game and saying, we've got Salah sitting on the bench. If this thing isn't right after 60 minutes, that team is looking going, fuck, they're going to bring him on. And at some stage, he's going to find the form again to get it. This is what a squad is about. This is what Liverpool fans can't deal with. Get him in and he never plays again. Get him in, he never plays again. This is about what we need to do. Right? This is about squad football. And this fellow will get a rest. Shaqiri will get a run. The Southampton game will probably see some changes.
Look, Shaqiri's well deserved of a start now.
Yeah,
he was very busy when he came on. He was quite threatening. So I wouldn't see a problem. Like, no player should really be exempt from a rest, especially when they are struggling and probably doing the world of good.
Do you think there's a video already out there about him throwing a bottle when we scored the winning goal? you can read into that whichever way you want. Do you think he's developed some kind of ego at the? Do you think he's developing an ego at this stage?
Salah's a form player. Like, he needs to be hitting the net for his form to be high. Like, we've seen before, he gave the ball away for the PSG second goal. He gave the ball away 3 times before that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's probably just he's more annoyed at stuff like that.
Well,
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
Like his stature has gone up, obviously, to a level where.
But when he's
you know.
Like, look, even last season when he's been playing well and he got pulled off, he's not big. pulled off. we used to just go around just.
I thought about young boys uniting before the match. People getting pulled off.
He's not happy, yeah. He's not. It doesn't be happy when he gets pulled off.
He was staying away from
Bear. He wouldn't be happy. But no, so sometimes he looks a little bit disappointed when he's taken off, and Klopp's trying to give him the hug, and he's. Like,
I mean, he deliberately played Mane in offside at one stage tonight.
Get that stick out.
But then at the same time, Mane wouldn't pass back to him. No. There's something going on there. They had a falling out. They had a row.
The part the camera catches where he's in behind he throws a bottle on the ground, but it could be anything from relief to disappointed in himself. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's pissed off.
Do you not think it's more?
Apparently there's a longer version of the video.
Is there?
And he's celebrating.
Is he?
He looks down and throws.
And then he whacks it.
Probably relief.
But do you think as well there's an element of it? He knows he gave away the ball for their second goal,
completely,
and he's ultimately pissed off with himself to put the team. He's delighted that we won. Yeah. Right, but he's just pissed off with himself because he loves the club. He used to play as Liverpool in FIFA 05. He used to put Gerrard up front because he had a powerful shot.
I can't think of an incident that where he's done that before.
FIFA, I heard.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think there should be a protest.
Do you?
Outside the ground. He's only 99 for speed.
He's only 99 for speed. He should be 110. I know. In fairness, I think he should actually be 92 for speed. It looks like he's lost a bit of speed since the shoulders broke.
Well, if they do this season update, then surely the numbers are going to come down. Yeah.
That's FSG for you, like, you know what I mean?
We want the bill.
They want to sell him, so they made his stats low, and they have your man from the used to be in EA. See, it's all.
It's all, yeah.
At the
end of the day, it's not. I can't think of an incident last season where an individual error from Salah leads directly to a goal against us. That's the fella we're signing when he goes to Madrid, yeah. What was that game? Which was the game where all the players' names were Pro Evo. So yeah, so Sarah is the guy from Pro Evo, yeah.
Kickoff 2 had the original makey up names. There was Liverton, Everpool. I think they robbed some of the names out. No, they did out Rovers. It was in Kickoff 2. No, I'm not talking about Pro Evo. I'm talking about Kickoff 2. So this was back, and they used to have the names almost right. And then Sensible Soccer as well.
They were calling Mary so red, but they had the real names.
Did they? No, I thought they changed like a couple of letters, so it looked like
they just made capitals and all. It was real sneaky.
It was real sneaky, was it?
Yeah. So look, obviously Salah's error, it leads directly to the goal. I think there's a certain amount of luck as Neymar goes through. I mean, Van Dijk, the challenge isn't the best actually from Van Dijk, the way he goes in, but he is on a yellow card, so maybe that was part of the way he makes the challenge. Forced to Mbappe smashes it in. At that stage, I think we were all fearing the worst. That potentially not only was this we thrown away the win, potentially we're going to lose the game now.
I think a lot. I know Salah loses the ball, but like, again, it shows up that Jordan Henderson is the worst number 6 in Europe. Yeah, honestly, like if you look, he was playing them all on side, even though he got out ahead of the play before the ball was passed. To be fair to Henderson, he had a brilliant game tonight, but from about 70 minutes onwards, he ran out of steam. And I thought a midfield substitution at that point, and maybe if you make that substitution, you might negate that because the fresh legs is there, and he's able to get out quicker to not close off Neymar or something for the pass.
You have options, don't you?
Yeah, that was us, right? We'd be talking about how ruthless we were.
I don't even have the earphones on, but talk into that mic, will you?
Ruthless. They were ruthless. We gave the ball away in our own half, dangerous position, man for man. a team like with all them superstars, they're just going to score. That's what they do, and that's what we do as well. And we just, all we be going on about is how quick we were getting forward and breaking and scoring and taking our chances, and that's all that fucking happened. I couldn't pick a blame to anyone there, only Salah with the loose sloppy ball. That fucking happens. But after that, they're favourites to score, just as we would be. They took us apart, and that's it. Like, you know,
when
we just have
down on
if you fucking if you look
plays of that quality.
If you look at goals, where did they come from? Losing the ball in your own half and you're caught in the counter, or set pieces, or an error. And that's fucking what happens.
There's not too many front threes in Europe that are better than them. Like Cavani and Mbappe and
there
fucking...
was talk between
Neymar.
The group, the lads in the group, about which three you would have from the six. I mean, it was hard, wasn't it? It's a very hard...
But the difference is attitude, isn't it? Like, I mean... It's a compliment to Liverpool that they couldn't score from just open play, possession build-ups, and take us apart. Because that's what the really top sides do.
Play farmers every week in France. You know what I mean? They would
that's why.
Do you know what I mean? They're not that clinical, but they're not.
That's their Achilles heel in a way, isn't it? That's part and parcel of their challenge to actually win this Champions League, isn't it? Because once they come up against quality opposition, and we are steadily moving into that bracket of the top quality opposition, they're falling short, aren't they?
Well, every player that comes to England says that the English Premier League is the hardest league to play in, because you'll go to the likes of West Brom or Stoke and stuff like that, and it's a tough game. Where in France, if you go down to the likes of Nice and all, it's shite standards. Not great, not shite, but it's not up to the level. Do you know what I mean?
You could do a job.
Do a job, anything. I've done loads of jobs. We won't get into that,
Paddy. But like, is it though? Because Paris Saint-Germain have gotten to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the Champions League for the last few years, right? They're regularly getting into the final stages of this tournament. They just can't get to the final.
Of course they are, but that's because they're really
Hang on, I'm asking Paddy, I'm not asking you. Right?
I'll tell you the same thing.
Well, let me tell you the same time. You have to let him talk. He drove all the way up from here.
Phil's hosty mode now.
Sorry. I just like listening to Paddy. Because I was just thinking to myself there, he's got such a nice tone to his voice, right? And it's nice to hear you talk, Paddy.
Thanks very much.
But is it really? It really is that bad. We were talking about this last week, right? When we were saying the French league, their teams tend to do really well in Europe.
But could it not be that, like, obviously the English teams and probably Spain, they would probably be at a higher level throughout the season, when in France they probably have 3 or 4 hard games throughout the season, like playing the likes of Monaco, Marseille, where in England you have Arsenal, Chelsea, you have fucking Spurs, Man United. So that's 5 teams, that's 10 games, tough games. Well, I know, but you know what I mean?
Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah. So like it's a higher level throughout the whole season.
We are battle hard, and I think the Premier League teams now have definitely got an edge when it comes to having to step up to elite opposition.
Because they just want to win. Like PSG just want the Champions League. They don't want that. And like, I think they'd settle for winning the Champions League and not winning the league. But the standard isn't that good in France, so they just run away with it every year.
No, I understand that, except for the year Monaco won it. But like, and that was 2 years ago. But like, when you step back and look at it, right, you say, for us to go 2-2 on the 83rd minute and show the bollocks to go and score that 3rd goal, even though we'd missed a series of chances up until then, that to me is the biggest growth I've seen in that team. It's the mentality. It's the thing we talked about at the start of the season. Could we take on that winning mentality where it's a relentless will to win in every single game? It's the United Ferguson thing that went down for the best part of 20 years, where you'd be fucking shitting it when it went into the last 3 minutes. If you're drawn with them 1-1 or they're 2-1 or 1-0 down or something like that,
there was a wave after
there's just wave, and it just was relentless.
Rogers used to talk about the character all the time. He used to like saying character, but like Klopp with his, you know, he just delivers it. He gets the player.
What's Pascal like?
What?
Pampers for men.
But that, I mean, that's that's the reality. Like, Klopp has them like that. Klopp has the attitude like that. It's a never say die thing, and that's the difference. The major difference between the superstars like that are going to Paris for their money and the players that are coming to Liverpool. They know the score before they arrive, and they're training fucking extremely hard every fucking day. And that's why we see Firmino just coming up to the pace now.
We actually heard after the game that Robertson said that him and Trent Alexander have a bet on to see who has the most assists
Okay,
this season. So that's obviously a little game that they have.
There's those little mini challenges going on, yeah.
Well,
That they're going to be in the team.
Oh, I think they've nailed it down by now, Phil.
Well, listen, who are you going to put in for either one of them?
Klein.
Well,
Where?
you put Klein in ahead of
For the
Moreno.
crack, here we go.
That's
Where?
the only way to go on that one.
Go on, answer your own question.
I'll go back to the idea of being able to rest players. I think that Trent has played an awful lot of football, came back early from the World Cup and the whole lot. I wouldn't have an issue with seeing Klein play a few games.
He should be fully charged,
No.
waking up in the morning.
No, that's ridiculous.
Why?
That's stupid talk, that is. That's the type of fucking idiot talk on Twitter. you get.
So how come? So Trent has played the same amount of games as Henderson, but yeah, and he's played more games than
I
Henderson.
just told you
and he's
Henderson is
lasted
the worst
90
number
minutes in
6
all
in
the
Europe.
games. And he does more running.
But
I
then
think
he
there
must
will
be
be-
knackered then. Then he needs a rest more than
When he
anyone.
came off, when he came off against Spurs, he wasn't even sweating. Did you see him?
Someone poured water.
Fresh as a daisy.
Rest is the day.
Not a bother.
Look, there'll be a time and a place, won't there, for
course
those
there will.
types of rotations and
the
the squad will be utilised, yeah.
Caribou Stark Nightmare Cup.
Look, the squad will be utilised. Just back onto your point, Phil. You make an excellent point. You make a point that I think will annoy and put fear into opposition fans at the end of the day. That we do feel like a bit of a different animal in terms of the mentality. That that fragility that we would have had in the past of going to pieces in that scenario. You wouldn't, you three scenarios there: a draw, losing the game, winning the game. Most times in the past, you would not have put your money on us winning that game.
Maybe
And
after
that's
the
from
City
that
game
scenario.
last year, remember the City game where we were 2-0 up and they came back and we still won the game. Maybe since then we've kicked on
but
and
they never got back.
we gifted them goals.
They never got back on a level
Yeah.
playing field like PSG did tonight, and we could have it could have gone sour, but we didn't let it go sour. And obviously,
Well, I thought there was an awful lot of parallels in the near collapse we had in the semi-final away to Rome to what went on in the second half there tonight. And in that instance, we almost do go and throw away a Champions League final position.
Just ran out of time, to be honest with you.
If
They
they had
literally
10
run
more
out
minutes,
of time.
I think they had
Only
us on
needed
the ropes.
I think they only needed 5.
They were like, they had that UFC referee who was just letting them punch the head off us at that stage. We were
Yeah.
just lying there.
Yeah.
waiting for the bell.
Look at the 3 sets of fresh legs that were on the pitch at the end of the game. 3 quality players.
And so this brings us on to the winner. I mean, Firmino comes on. He looks razor sharp, as you said, for those 20 minutes that he comes on. We've had the no look finish. Now we got the one eye celebration. Yeah, I mean, I personally thought the chance had gone in the first place. Yeah, the corner comes in from Shaqiri. There's a bit of miscontrol by Firmino. We managed to get the ball back, and the finish is just superb. Yeah. I mean, I've been a little bit critical of Firmino's start, but let's face it, he's getting goals and assists.
Would you think he's our best striker? Our most influential striker?
Well, he is. I mean, it goes without. I think it goes without question at the moment. I think Sturridge can come in and do a job. You're right, but there's no replacing what Firmino brings, is there?
No, that's what world class players do. That's the difference. Like big moments. And he's grown and grown since he's come to Liverpool. I don't think he was that sort of player when he came. I mean, I wasn't a football hipster watching the Bundesliga anyway.
Bundesliga.
We've got one over there.
But what he's become now is he's unique in world football. Like, you couldn't, if God forbid he fucking got injured tomorrow, a career ender, you wouldn't be able to replace him. It's impossible. How would you replace him in that system?
See, to me,
he's integral to the machine.
Firmino is another Suarez. And he's getting out, but Suarez was just literally the most prolific floaty 9 that you've ever seen in your life. And he still is. Like, he scored 196,000 goals in 10 games for Barcelona or something.
Well, Suarez is a freak of nature.
But that's what I'm saying. But he's the best.
He was particularly a freak of nature with Liverpool, though, because if you look at the goals he scored for us and some of the mad things he did for us, he's not doing that at Barcelona.
Not to that level.
No. I think he has got
Messi on the pitch,
sharing
the stage.
Probably less encouraged in Spain to do it. Because there's so much going on. But he was just
I do agree that there's not many floaty 9s knocking around, right? Now, given that we're playing with 2 Floaty6's today, and we didn't have a floaty 9, so you can offset when if you don't have a floaty 9 on the pitch and just have a normal 9, you can play the 2 Floaty6's, and that makes your team look different. Whereas this way, if you're playing a floaty 9, you have to have a normal 6 and 2 floaty 8s.
Yeah. He has invented a role, somewhat, hasn't he? They tried to call him a false nine. Like there's false nines,
and the problem obviously the problem he has from an international point of view is Brazil don't utilise him for what he brings to the table.
And like that's the good thing about it. Where would he go? Like,
what on the pitch for Brazil?
Does he attract your Barcelonas or does he attract Real Madrid?
I think he does attract Barcelona when they go to replace Suarez. Because again, they've got a floaty 9, so they need another floaty 9 to replace the floaty 9. Like the problem is when he plays with Brazil, they're all playing floaty everything, and then there's very few, bar the goalkeeper, which is Alisson, who's playing.
They're two different players. Like don't get me, like I know what we're saying. The floaty 9, like Suarez was a different animal in front of goal. Like where Firmino was more involved in the setup of the goal.
Yeah,
he's more like
he's integrating what's going on around, isn't he?
You forget about how much Suarez was integral to everything that went on, and when I look at Suarez and I look at the impact he has on teams, and I look at Firmino and the impact he's having on this team, they're very similar. They even look a bit the same.
We depended heavily on Suarez
to get the goals.
Yeah, the goals, the spectacular.
Yeah. I think Firmino's movement and the way he plays helps Mane and Salah because he pulls defenders out. He pulled like I always say it as well. But we seen last year in the City game, Salah wasn't getting any joy out with Walker, so they pushed Firmino out onto that side, and then we got all the joy down. They kept putting the ball to Firmino. Firmino was in the battles against Walker, so like Firmino can play in the centre, left and right, but I think he's more integral to how we played on Suarez was. Don't get me wrong. I'd still, people mightn't like this, I'd rather Suarez over Firmino at the level we were at, but I think he's more integral to how we play now.
Devastating, but things, things would have to change in that front three to accommodate Suarez.
I don't see how he'd have to. No, I don't. I think we again. There's a bit of Firmino is the best ever now because he's with us, and Suarez isn't because he isn't. I'm telling you now, right? If Suarez was in that front three, it'd be madness because you would just lads all over the shop, right? And then you'd have, imagine being able to rotate Suarez and Firmino. Like imagine looking at the bench and going, which one of these fuckers is going to come on next? Let them have a scrap. Imagine all the mad celebrations and everything. like slapping eyes and doing one eyes. Like, imagine when Suarez bit someone. Firmino be running around biting everyone on the pitch.
Muzzles and all.
Listen, I think it would be a great problem to have. But going back to it, like we did. He is the only floaty 9 we have at the club, right? Yeah. Origi's not a floaty 9. Solanke is a floaty, but he's not a floaty 9, right? And then
I think Sturridge is trying to do a bit of a job.
Field yesterday, did you see?
He got lost.
Did he? Well,
he played in the field, like an LFC TV job. And you just hear people shouting from the side, like one of those. Just a goal wheeled onto the pitch type of scenario.
Onto the pitch.
you know them with one camera, like just. Yeah,
of people sitting on
and the LFC
a really wide angle, so show the whole pitch for everything. You have to sort of zoom your eyes.
That's why he's become like, which is
it's a bit shameful. Just remember how deadly he was in that run to the Europa Cup final. Like, he took Sturridge's jersey off him.
Yeah. He was the great hope at one stage.
Yeah, he got injured. The only reason he missed out the final was because he got injured.
Before he even come to the club.
Remember, I think he was better out wide, coming inside,
cutting inside.
So we just don't have a ready-made replacement to bring in for Firmino should we need it. I mean that could have been totally different, that eye injury, like that could have easily kept him out till after Christmas.
I think
it's been so freaky as well, it was a freak injury. You just don't know with those ones, do you? Look, so sorry to cut you off, Paddy, just in terms of where we go on Saturday, changes, obviously, we've got out there, we've got the win. There was some tired legs. It's going to have taken a bit out of some of those players. I think it is time to maybe make 3 or 4 changes on Saturday. Is there any obvious ones for you?
Kate will probably come back in, I'd say, straight away. Henderson out. Wijnaldum will probably start again. Milner, I think Milner's going to start, definitely. I think they must plug Milner in and charge him up or something. Maybe he does not stop. Roy Bean, my body.
There was a kind of a belief that he couldn't play 2 games in a week.
He sent him to Barcelona. That's what happened to them.
They pepped him.
He went to Manchester for the weekend. Manchester to the Bupa Centre, just beside the Manchester City football ground, where lads with no legs grow legs in a week.
Oh yeah.
He did play on Saturday, against Spurs. Yeah. So potentially he's looking at 3 games.
I think you'd go Fabinho I think Fabinho starts this weekend. I think
Keita, where he unleashes him,
Keita, Fabinho, and I think Milner will play, right? Because he'll rest Milner in the League Cup game against Chelsea. And I think we will see Shaqiri get a start as well. Yeah. I think he'll rest Salah in this game. And he'll probably rest Salah in the League Cup game as well, with a view to bringing him back in against Chelsea. Again, that hunger and desire that's there, right? In the league. And I'd say he'll start Sturridge in this match and the League Cup match to give Sturridge a run of games.
Yeah. That's a lot of changes. He won't make that many changes.
I think 3 maximum is my view on it. Yeah,
I'd say there's a change.
I hadn't finished.
More changes.
These are changes for Chelsea next week, but they are realistically.
Don't be finishing me bleeding team. You said he's going to make any changes. We're putting Klein in, and I think Matip starts as well. And if Lovren is fit, he plays.
At the weekend too.
Chelsea. When you get to the Chelsea, Carlin, what is it? Carabao Cup game these days.
Carabao Stark Nightmare Cup.
You're looking at wholesale 7, 8, 9 changes. Yeah. You're looking at
lads who need
proper,
if you're looking
at proper changes.
I'm telling you now, if you want to have real crack for the Chelsea game, right? Don't really watch the match. Just watch the Twitter match, right? And watch how many players will launch their careers and be demanding a start. You watch the level of Dorito dust across Twitter in that Chelsea League Cup game. It will be phenomenal. There'll be lads there talking about the best DM since Javier Mascherano was at the club, dominating the league. They must start, because if he doesn't start,
Twitter should get on that, because you know when someone's birthday and all the confetti comes down.
There's Doritos all over the shop.
Football hipsters, when you go onto their timeline, all Dorito dust. She's just like flash everywhere.
And like a box room with a wardrobe. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Just at the top of your feed, Dorito warning.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to say.
Any concerns about any sort of drop off if we make those 3 or 4 changes on Saturday? Obviously Southampton, I mean, look, they got pegged back by Brighton last night. They're probably a bit down in the mouth over that scenario, so you don't
for a change.
I mean,
we have to be just past that, like banana skins. Like it has to be 6 from 6. What is it? 6, 6 from 6 in the league has to be. If it's not,
is the match in St Mary's?
I mean,
is the match in St Mary's?
No, it's at Anfield.
Is it?
Yeah, it's at Anfield.
That's nice, because that's after.
For the first time in a long time, I haven't had it in my mind, like with the 2 points per game ratio, Jobby, to make sure that we get the Champions League spot. Like now, I'm thinking we just have to win games. You cannot afford to.
It's 2.5 the ratio
when you're playing
the league,
2.5.
Yeah.
For City level.
Yeah.
Surely 2.5 is a 90 odd.
Yeah, 90 odd points.
But like City get 100 points, so we have to just keep winning games.
This year.
They will. That's the problem. Like I think Liverpool. I actually do as well. I don't think there's any going to be drop off at all.
I think the low 90s.
The real potential drop offs is the impact of the Europa League on Chelsea, because even if they rotate the players around and treat it as a League Cup game, the travelling does take it out of a squad. Especially because they have to play 800 league games in that Europa League before they even get to the knockout stages. It is like there's only 26 weeks. There's less than 26 weeks left in the year, right? And they have to play 64 games in that Europa League on a Thursday night. They play 3 games a night in some instances. But luckily they have 40 players out on loan, so they can just get them to come back in and fit in for the things. But like, seriously, no, I do think that's potentially where the Chelsea match, that's where it kicks in. But the Southampton game for me, I know I was saying I wouldn't care how many changes we see, but I'd say Andy's probably right. We probably see 3. I think Fabinho, Keita, and maybe Shaqiri. Yeah.
I mean, Shaqiri come on for the last few minutes there. He looks dangerous, doesn't he? Let's face it. He always seems to be a bit about him when he comes on, doesn't he?
Yeah, what I liked about him was he just looked very busy, very threatening, like just hyper.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the type of player he was at Stoke anyway. Like he was certainly the main man, a bit of a swagger about him and picking up the ball all over the shop. But tonight he just looked like he fits the jail.
He just slots in, doesn't he? He slots in. Yeah. He there's no drop off when he comes on in terms of who's coming off the pitch. He's an extra threat. He's an extra person for the defenders to.
He's come to the club, and Klopp has obviously said, right, you're obviously not going to start straight away. This is how we play. Try and work your way into the team. It's as simple as that. As we are saying, hungering players trying to get into the squad. The likes of Klein, as you were saying. Klein obviously wants to. Klein is an England starter before Trent was there, so Klein wants to get back into the squad. Shaqiri wants to play. Sturridge obviously wants to play. Sturridge is playing for a contract, is he, or is he not?
He is. I mean, look, the competition is healthy, isn't it? You know, if you've always got players who want to play, then
the odds are stacked against certain players. But look, this is football we're talking about. Like, it's not always it's never as you expect. Players will get games. Like, despite what, you know, some people just don't want to see Henderson on the pitch, he's going to get minutes. Yeah. And people are really, really concerned that they've spent 40 million on Firmino and he's still not got in, and some people are losing their shit over it. He's going to get fucking games. Like,
games in, you know, we're 5 games in the league. We've played 1 Champions League game. Let's not get too stressed out about it. Look, Gav is on at me. He's on at me for you to go around and give your man of the match for tonight, yeah?
What's happening to Southampton? Like, that's idiocy. Like, that's the worst production ever.
I know.
You need to go back on your producer course.
I know.
Especially when
I'm going to do two
Especially
things
when we
now.
started off when Yaldon was the man of the match.
2 things now. I'll come back on Southampton because I'm going to do 2 things that Gav loves, yeah? So he loves a man of the match and he also loves a prediction, yeah? But not only does he love a prediction, he loves a prediction with goal scorers, yeah. So
we'll do a prediction for who's going to be man of the match.
yeah. Let's go for the trifecta. I want to score, I want goal scorers, and I want a man of the match. Yeah, trifecta. So quick one, man of the match tonight, because I actually don't think there's much of a debate on man of the match tonight.
It's simple. Henderson.
Gav's head just exploded.
No, it's obviously Wijnaldum. Like, no, I'm not. No exaggeration. That's one of the best midfield performances I've seen in a Liverpool shirt for a good few years.
Yeah,
one of the best. Absolutely.
It was just constantly.
Yeah.
The constant threat that he was posing.
Yeah.
At times you're like, is that really Wijnaldum up there? You know, would you agree?
Yeah, wins the penalty, moves the ball really well. Just quality tonight. Yeah, absolutely quality.
Phil, I daren't ask, but go on. Who's your man of the match tonight? Outside of Alisson, who's your man of the match tonight?
I think Wijnaldum had a fantastic game.
Yeah,
but I think
unsung hero. Then go on.
I think it has to be said, Robertson basically shackled Mbappe all night long.
He did, didn't he?
And
apart
I think
from 1 or 2, he skinned him once.
But outside of that, Mbappe basically had to go the far side to get that goal at the end. He was over on Trent's side, coming from Trent's side across Gomez, and scores the goal because he got nothing out of Gomez all night long. And I think the Gomez and Van Dijk just dealt supremely with that little prick Neymar. Like, I think Neymar is one of the most overrated footballers to ever exist, right? I genuinely do.
He was made to look average.
Something like really unique about him when he gets on the ball, and the
I've
fear
never
he
seen a
puts
player
into
as overrated in my life. That's what's fucking unique about him.
Yeah.
Seriously, I've seen the last player that was this overrated was Robinho.
Yeah. Like he's not your typical Brazilian star, like going back over your Ronaldos and Ronaldinhos or anything like that. He's just not at that level. But
you won't remember him. Okay, I'm telling you now. In 20 years' time, you remember Ronaldinho, you remember Valdo, you remember the original Ronaldo. You think of Zico and Pele and Socrates and Josimar, only because he scored that goal in the '86 World Cup. Right? You remember all these players. You remember all Romario.
But you see Neymar's also associated with a Brazil team that failed miserably on a number of occasions.
But you will not remember Neymar because, do you know what? There's plenty of players just like him around the world. He's not elevated to a level that's incredibly special. He's not a Suarez, he's not a Messi, and he's not a Ronaldo.
Well, the irony, isn't it? The irony is that he obviously got away from Barcelona because he wanted to be the main man. But the reality is Mbappe is streets ahead of him, isn't he?
I think Cavani's a better player. I think that Cavani is a better player for PSG than Neymar was, because Cavani is just. He's not just a centre forward. The level of work rate he puts in, of the 3 of them, I know Mbappe looks like to be the next up and coming world class talent. But if you were to drop one of those 3 into our front 3 now, Cavani will be the one I take because his work rate is sensational.
He's someone who could potentially do
Be a floaty nine.
yeah, exactly.
But he's not,
The
he's
job.
not,
You
like,
do the
he's-
job.
He's not the what we find a lot of the time with the big players now, big names, is they're just celebrity footballers. They're
Yeah.
celebrity first, then football second.
Yeah.
Cavani's just like your model pro. He's a fucking unbelievable footballer everywhere he's been. Whereas like the likes of fucking Neymar
Proper
seems to make
prima
a
donna.
name off the pitch first.
Mm.
Pogba the same.
Mm.
The world's full of them, and
Mm.
they're dictating clubs. They're controlling football. They're control like that's pretty. And like we just imagine that they are the top players in the world.
Because he moved for 800 or whatever,
Yeah.
how much money it
I
was.
look at the players that are on the pitch and I say, who do I think is the best players in the world? And it's the ones who elevate teams to a level that they would never have achieved had they not been
So
there.
how good is like I was saying about Robertson? How good is Robertson if you can control? Because
We all stopped another 20 million. Oh, whole another 20 million.
At
We do.
least.
At least.
his emergence
Just
to
to be
being
polite.
the best left back, well, one of the best left backs in the
Unreal.
country, one of the best left backs in the world at the moment, is freakish.
Yeah.
There's only Liz Arazi was better than him. That's it really. That's literally like I can't think of a left back in England who's better than him. I know they talk about Mendy at City. I was trying to think of one in Spain, but then
Like Mendy for City is a bit of a but Mendy's like
don't fall into it, Ray. Don't fall into it. He was rested.
Fabian Delph. No drop off.
Mendy's more about what the pre-judgment of him is in the league. Like he fucking didn't do anything. Yeah, you know, like he's started off well. He's looked excellent in some of the earlier games, but Robertson.
Look, Robert, it's a great shout, Phil, because what Robertson did tonight, it was no nonsense, wasn't it? He was close on Mbappe whenever he got the opportunity. If it was the right thing to do, he just swung a leg at the ball and he got it clear of danger. He didn't try and piss about like you would see Moreno trying to do. You know, Moreno would have got rinsed by Mbappe tonight, no doubt. So it's a.
Do you actually think that the lads at the back, the likes of Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robinson have went up a level because of Van Dijk? Are we starting to see it now? Because like Robinson was rested, Klopp didn't put him in because he didn't think he was ready.
Yeah.
And the words that he said, but now he's come in and Van Dijk is beside him.
Yeah.
And he's different level.
Put it this way, it doesn't do any harm, does
No,
it?
it doesn't. No.
Next
But you
to
think like the likes of even Gomez, like Gomez looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
Robertson already looked that player before Van Dijk arrived. In terms of what
He did.
he looked
He
like, he was
did,
going
he
to
did, to
explode.
be
We
fair,
were
yeah.
saying, can he deliver these performances consistently?
Yeah.
And he has delivered those performances consistently, even without Van Dijk beside him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the likes of him bombing forward. Do you think that like right, I can go and bomb on here because Virgil's behind us?
But sure, if it wasn't Virgil, like he would have had Sacco.
Right, we're gonna before we wrap it up, we're gonna do some predictions then. So I want the trifecta, Andy. I want the score, the goal scorers, and a man of the match.
Yeah. So I think this is the hiding that
This
we've
is
been
the
waiting.
hiding?
Yeah.
The hiding eight.
No, yeah. No, I think fuck it. Like I think we put 5 past them.
Okay.
5-0.
5-0.
Yeah.
Scorers quickly.
Shaqiri, Fabinho, Sturridge. No, seriously, I think Mane scores a couple, Firmino scores, and Keita. Is
How
that
many's
4?
That looks
That's
like
4.
yeah.
Right, give us a Robertson one.
A Robertson.
Yeah, and he's going to be man of the match.
Man of the match.
Yeah.
Robertson. Yeah. Okay. Paddy.
I'm gonna go for 2-0.
2-0.
I'm gonna go for
More
Van Dijk to
conservative.
score against his
He
old
nearly
club.
scored tonight.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
good
for Van
shout.
Dijk to score, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Salah to get the other one off the bench because he'll be
Salah
rested.
off the bench. Man of the match, Paddy.
Oh man, the match would probably be. I'm gonna go Robertson for man of the
Okay.
match.
Phil.
Southampton, Van Dijk.
What?
Southampton, Van Dijk.
No, he plays for us now, Phil. He plays.
Burger, hotels.com and Redsbet. I think man of the match. I'm gonna go with.
Just do backwards. Go on.
Now, is this the Twitter man of the match or is it the actual man of the match?
The actual.
Gav's man of the match. It doesn't really matter. You just pick Wijnaldum, even if he's not playing. So I'm going with
the Sven Svensson TV man of the match.
Sponsored by Kevin Street. I go with man of the match. Joe, you're home already. What's Joe's card doing outside?
Out.
We're going with. I don't man of the match Mane because he hates Southampton, right?
Yeah.
And I think
another ex-Southampton lad. Yeah, go on.
When you're looking at that camera, it's like it's someone.
That's what you have to. Do you not watch ESPN?
Yeah, I do.
You address the people like that.
It's the only reason why Phil wants me to host is so that he can sit there and he can do.
You're not even here. You just talking to himself.
I'm talking to the people out there. Hi, people. We're going to go man of the match. Liverpool 3-1. Right, and then
leaking goals.
Danny Ings can't play. He only does damage. What was the other one?
Goal scorers, go on.
That's not hope.
You've now got to remember who plays for Southampton. You've now got to remember a name of a Southampton player who's not called Danny Ings.
Or Gomez. No, because Gomez signed for Southampton last year. Do you remember? That's the IT stuff. Yeah, he did. So I'm going with for us
3-1.
Mane,
yeah,
Van Dijk,
Southampton
and
trio.
Is Lovren playing?
Klein.
Klein.
Nathaniel Klein.
Klein, yeah.
So Klein starts and scores.
Yeah.
Southampton 3 score.
Yeah, the Southampton 3 score. The South Coast 3 score.
And do we score an OG for them, mate?
Lovren comes on and scores. So we scored all the goals on Saturday.
Man of the match.
I told you, Mane.
Oh, okay, yeah. You did. Fair play. Yeah. That I completely lost the run there.
Twitter man of the match will be.
Twitter man of the match
Fabinho
will not be Hendo.
Fabinho.
Yeah, Fabinho. Even if Fabinho doesn't play, he's going to get man of the match.
Oh, right. We're going to have to wrap it up there. Yeah. So, look, thanks, lads. Andy, Paddy, Phil, been a pleasure. Gav working all the controls over there. Look, this has been the Tuesday Club. We will be back next Tuesday. In the meantime, the Fatback 4 will be doing their bit on Sunday night and reviewing the Southampton game and giving the real man of the match awards out. So, so despite Phil's best efforts to completely destroy the ending of this, this has been the Tuesday Club. I've been your host, Ray. We'll see you next week.